Welcome to A Fan's Perspective. This your boy Boogie 45. On a late night with it. Um, I want to cover one of these topics, man. This Maino versus Academics joint. You know what I'm saying? Uh, let's see what they talking about now. All right, so the joint started where Academics said something about how Maino, Fab, and Davies Dress On Rap About It podcast, basically saying that they were older YNs by the way they dressed, right? So Mano responded, and it just became a back and forth. And Charleston White, you know, jumped in that joint, right? So I'm gonna play a couple clips from it just to, get y'all up to speed. I probably haven't seen it already. I'm just gonna go over it real quick, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it. All right.
DJ Agarelish. Hey, buddy. You nasty little animal. How you feeling, brother? Check this out, man. You think you so smart. You think you're the most intelligent person in the room, my boy. You're so cocky. You're sitting over there with your makeup on and sitting in your basement. Academics. The king of the internet. Boy, you ain't nothing but the king of your basement and all those weird little sex toys you got down there. So, here's the thing. First and foremost, I've never been in my entire life accused or locked up, arrested for any sexual anything. Sexual assault, sexual anything, nothing. So you gotta miss me with that one and maybe look a little bit deeper in what you going after. And if you're gonna like post niggas saying old footage of niggas saying foul shit about me, post the documents, nigga. Post the receipts or whatever you talking about. Because you think you're so smart and you're talking about jokes. Nigga, I told you you had an opinion on us, and this was my opinion on you. You called them jokes. You said you was talking about the truth. Well, maybe you just mad that my truth is a little bit more better than yours. Because I don't want to hear nothing about what we wearing, how old we are, rappers becoming podcasters, washed up this. I don't want to hear nothing about none of that. Unless you're going to give us a detailed explanation on why you thought it was cool to have a conversation with a 15-year-old boy about another man fucking.
All right. Let's see. Now, all right. So that's Mano part. I'm gonna get into Ack and Charleston White. Let's see. Yeah, so that joint, Charleston White versus Mano. Let me see. DT Academics tagged Charleston White into the joint. So we'll see.
Get into it with a New York.
Maino, all the huffing and puffing he doing, when he was there that night when Troy Ave shot at Taxstone. His girlfriend got shot in the face.
Shit, I hate these whole ass niggas. Man, I hate these whole ass niggas to talk to.
He ain't had no energy for Troy Ave. He knew that Troy Ave did it. Hey, he had supposedly when the scuffle happened in the green room and the chain dropped, I guess he called himself like he was playing tough. He picked up Troy Ave's chain. He wore it for a year, and then after a year, he came out and said, "Yo, this chain is fake." So Troy Ave started saying, "If my chain is fake, why did you wear a fake chain for a year?" You know what I'm saying? So really, this is a guy like it's just that he's not that well known. When I Charleston White, a million things come up. When I Google Maino, there's not that much that comes up. I had to look real hard to find it.
I just know him from Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's trying to drag me to the place where people gonna be like, oh man, now you said that about some street shit. He gotta see you in the streets.
Now, you stay in your lane, homie. You keep being our journalist.
Back and forth. They're not witty enough. They're not slicking up.
No, you keep staying in your lane as a journalist. I look for them big bad tough niggas that bring this shit to the entertainment industry as if they street niggas. So he got my attention. So I'm gonna be real disrespectful to that and see if he really with that shit. I want to see. I really want to see the way he just talked to you. I want to see will he give me that same energy. And I'm willing to bet he don't. Don't think 50 Cent will match me, nigga. I don't think Curtis Jackson can match me with my wit with this mouth.
But you see, here's the thing though. The issue with you, that's why they don't want it, is that they know they can't beat you when they go back and forth.
I'm gonna disrespect their mama, their kid, their bitch, their dead homie, and tell them I'm gonna call the police you do something and make him sit on this pussy. Cause don't none of them want to go to Rikers Island.
That's true.
So I hope he go. I show him and I shoot too, bitch ass nigga. I shoot too. Ask the dude hit me at the barbershop. I shoot too.
Hey, and that's why they don't want to go back and forth with like you. Cause here's the thing, with like you, they prey up on the fact. They say, all right, if we see you, we gonna fuck you up. They're like, good. We ain't gonna see him. We ain't gonna see.
Get into it with a New York.
All right. So this was going on, right? Now with the whole situation, like, all right, with Maino, in order for Maino to come out on top in this situation, right? This is WWE. So you can't really even take this personal. This is WWE. You know what I mean? And once you're on the internet, you subject to all of this. So, it is what it is, right? But in order for Maino to come out on top, this is the challenge for Maino, right? Maino has to fess them up, you know what I mean, without being violent or without resorting to violence or anything having to do with violence. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they waiting for you to do. And you got to do your homework on Academics and a Charleston White. Now, if you do your homework on them, you got to present things that the public don't know about because most of their truth is out there already. You know what I mean? So you got to present things that the public don't know about. But I feel like men don't need a team. He need Hassan Campbell and he need Zip with the Drip. That's the dream team right there. He get them two, they could go at Ack and Charleston White. You know what I'm saying? They might, because Ack and Charleston White might tag in Whack 100. So it's gonna be it'll be a nice little 3-on-3. You know what I mean? See who fess each other up on the internet. It's all entertainment, and you do it on your platforms. It's all monetized, and it just help everybody. Numbers grow. You know what I mean? But you can't take this as something that can potentially resort to street shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that can't even be an option. You know what I mean? Because these dudes, this is the internet, right? These dudes is on the internet, so they got this shit mastered. You know what I mean? Now, Maino been around for a while, so he knows some things too. You feel me? But I feel like Maino by himself cannot take on Act and Charleston White on this internet. They gonna wash him. You know what I mean? But if Maino tag Hassan in it and tag Zip in it, oh, it's gonna be a Royal Rumble, baby. It's gonna be a Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? And it's all entertainment at the end of the day, man. You know what I mean? You know, Act saying they can't dress or they're dressing like youngins. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to that, at the end of the day, can't nobody dictate what I'm supposed to be wearing, especially if you ain't grow up getting fly. You can't dictate what I'm supposed to be wearing, and you don't get fly like that. You didn't grow up getting fly. So how can you dictate what I should wear at a certain age? Dudes want to be youthful. I don't think Mano is dressing like a YN. I think Brooklyn dudes always been fly. We don't care what age we is. So if people get into their 50s, they supposed to wear suits and hard bottoms all day. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, you know, everybody got their own swagger, man. You feel me? And I don't think nobody should be pigeonholed to, wear a certain thing because of their age. Like, nah, you wear whatever you want to wear. You know what I mean? As long as it don't look ridiculous. Cause there ain't nothing wrong with what Maino Fab Davies wearing. Ain't nothing, Jen Jones, ain't nothing wrong with what they wearing. You know what I mean? They staying fly. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to call them older YN? It is what it is. But I say this, it's gonna be entertaining as hell though. When it come down to it. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I can't wait to see. I hope Maino strategizes with this and really like make it a WWE Royal Rumble on the internet, man. You know what I mean? It'll be good for all platforms. You know what I'm saying? Now you got something to, talk about when you go on the podcast, man. You know what I mean? Tap it with with the people, bring more people to your joint. You know what I'm saying? Because I think they podcast it it brings a niche audience. You know what I'm saying? So if you grew up on Fab, you grew up on Jim, Mano, you know what I mean? Then you more or less, gonna go that way. But the younger cats, they go to, they got their picks of who they go with. You know what I mean? So I think it'll bring more people to the platform and it'll be better for everybody, man. Sometimes we gotta throw a little humor in the shit, man. We can't be too serious all the damn time. You know what I mean? So it's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it clean, keep it clean, and and do what it do, man. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get my front row seats. I'm gonna have my popcorn when I'm watching this joint. You better believe it. You know what I'm saying? All right, so there was something else I wanted to cover. This Daz Dillinger joint, man. I don't know what's going on with him and Snoop, man, but we gonna get into it. See what's going on with him. Okay. All right. Think I'm gonna give me a short. Shut up. Shut up. All right, boom.
Just get rich, we all we got. Dog pound still with the click, that means a lot.
We still together. We got shows together.
Because wasn't the album coming out on Death Row?
Yeah, the album came out on Death Row. And then I got kicked off of Death Row again from Snoop. Got into it. Me and Snoop, it's my cousin. We get into it all the time. He kicked me off. I ain't going back this time.
Yeah, you're going back?
He did a show and didn't take me. So, what's going on? He's just like, you ain't sign your catalog over to me. I'm keeping it. You know what I'm saying? It's worth a lot. It's like he owned the label, but I own the publishing. And that's more valuable than the ownership. I get the Tupac royalties. I get all my royalties. Because Tupac and Dr. Dre are separate from Death Row.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all the albums that Snoop had on Death Row, it deplenished now. He only got 3 albums on there. Okay. All them records, everybody took their records back. So, he only got Doggy Style, Dog Father, Murder Was the Case, The Dog Pound, which I'm coming to get, and my solo album after them 3, but you only got about 3 albums left on there.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm acquiring, getting my shit back.
Yeah.
I'm not on Death Row. Corrupt is on Death Row.
Yeah, so Daz got a gripe with Snoop, and it's basically like, let me break this down. Let me just run across one more thing.
Yeah, you know what it is. I be hearing people say, since Snoop got Death Row, they didn't try to get no royalties and stuff before then. I'm the only nigga that always try to get royalty, nigga. I've been on their ass ever since, nigga. E1, Koch, everybody. Everybody gonna get it. You hanging with them, it's just like in the street. You hanging with the niggas and they get shot, you gonna get shot too. So, hey, guilty by association. I'm coming to get mine, man. Yeah, you know what it is.
All right. So I think that, from what I'm seeing, the fight is over royalties now. To be, just to give you an overview. All right. So when Snoop acquired Death Row, right? Snoop acquired Death Row, and basically he wanted to do a deal that's like similar to like what Irv Gotti did when he sold Murder Inc. for like $300 million. And people are selling their publishing, their masters and stuff like that for the high. Now, the thing about what Snoop was doing when he acquired Death Row, he had a bunch of publishing that came with it, right? So everybody came back and got their publishing according to Daz, and it's only three artists left on there, that publishing is left on there. So Daz pretty much wants ownership of his stuff, because when Snoop acquired Death Row, he acquired the stuff that was caught up in the acquisition, right? Like the masters, the stuff like that, so that people can get their royalties. So basically, Daz was saying that Snoop changed, like there was signatures that were forged, and you know he basically was saying that Snoop kind of tried to backdoor him to get his publishing or to get his masters. You know what I mean? And when you selling a label, you want to sell that's where the value is at in the labels and the masters and the publishing. You know, but if you acquire a label and everybody comes for their publishing, then the value's gone. So now you have to sign new artists and get their masters or their publishing in order to build the value back up, so you can sell the the record label for the high. So let's say you bought it for 5 mil, you double back and you sell it for 50 mil, with the masters and the publishing and stuff like that. But Daz put in the paperwork to get his masters and his publishing back off of Death Row. So I guess Daz was doing shows with Snoop, and Snoop stopped doing shows with him because he didn't want to sign over his masters. And I just think that if Daz wants, if all Daz is talking about is having ownership over his stuff, then I don't see what the problem is. Because I seen Snoop made a reply, but it's just like I don't see the problem with it. You know what I mean? And there was another artist, Cocaine, that said he did like 60 something songs for Snoop and he never got no royalties for it. So he kind of cut ties with Snoop behind that. And basically he was explaining in this interview that, you know, if we homies in outside of business, then we should be homies in business the same way. You can't say we homies outside of business and then when business come, you screw me over on paper, And this is a case where, you can't just roll with the celebrity because they got a bigger voice. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So if Daz want his just due, he want ownership over his stuff. That's his stuff. I don't see the problem with it. Now some people say you shouldn't bring it to the internet or what have you, but and it could be solved with a phone call. But sometimes things don't get solved with phone calls. So you call somebody and the conversation won't go well, and it's like you know you're right in your claim, but it's like if we're not seeing eye to eye, then some people have a way to just put it out there and you know, let the people comment on it or whatever. So at the end of the day, there's a couple business practices over the years that I feel like was a little questionable by Snoop. I'm gonna show you one of them. Snoop had presented something having to do with NFTs, right? Uh, Non-fungible tokens, something that came out around the time when crypto came out. So let's get into it. Okay, so Snoop Dogg is a major player in the NFT space, launching several collections like Journey with a Dog in its first 2021 and the Doggies with the Sandbox Metaverse, offering fans digital collectibles, music, and metaverse access, even teasing plans to make Death Row Records a metaverse label, solidifying his long-term involvement. involvement with NFTs as a way to connect with fans and build a digital legacy, right? Which I totally understand that, right? But the thing about NFTs is digital art that you're supposed to buy for the low and sell for a profit. I don't see the value in NFTs. And a lot of people lost money in NFTs, and a lot of celebrities got paid to promote NFTs. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. Let's look up the lawsuits. And that not only NFTs, they got sued for promoting faulty crypto as well. Uh, let's see. Okay. Now, numerous celebrities have faced lawsuits and regulatory action for promoting NFTs and cryptocurrencies, primarily failing to disclose the compensation received for their endorsements. High profile cases include class action lawsuits related to Bored Ape Yacht Club and the defunct FTX exchange and the platform Binance. Celebrities sued over the Bored Ape Yacht Club. A major class action lawsuit filed in December 22 targeted Yuga Labs, the creator of Daisy, and numerous celebrities, alleging they were part of a scheme to artificially inflate the price of NFTs and ApeCoin. The suit claims that the suit claims the celebrities were discreetly paid through the crypto firm MoonPay to make their interests appear genuine. Celebrities named as defendants in the Daisy lawsuit include Justin Bieber, Madonna, Jimmy Fallon, Paris Hilton, Gwyneth Paltrow, Serena Williams, Post Malone, Snoop Dogg, Kevin Hart, Stephen Curry, The Weeknd. All right. And celebrities sued over the FTX collapse. This is the cryptocurrency exchange that collapsed and people put their money into it. It was a pump and dump, basically. And the celebrities named in that lawsuit is Tom Brady, Giselle Bundchen, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Davis, Stephen Curry, Naomi Osaka. All right. So when it comes to financials, you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your due diligence. You can't just invest in something because a celebrity tells you to invest in something because you don't know if they're being paid for that. And then if you invest in said product or crypto or NFT and you lose your money, you know, it's a loss. It's there's no recourse for it. You know what I mean? So that I think that was questionable when it came to the celebrities trying to promote the NFTs and stuff like that. I was just like, I didn't believe it. I didn't buy into it. But for the people that did and lost their money, you know, that's not a good. That's not a good look. You know. But I hope Snoop and Daz work it out. I feel like cats are getting older, up in age, and cats don't need to be beefing at that age, man. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And Daz has always been about his business. That's one thing from Death Row to when he left Death Row. Daz has always been somebody that has made made ownership important. You know what I mean? For him owning his publishing, his masters, all of that. He made that like the focal point. He was always about his business. So if the problem is just ownership, let the man get the stuff that he rightfully owns. You know what I mean? Now, or come to Daz with a deal where it's like you could pay him enough to where it would replace what he's getting from, whatever royalties that he's getting from the masters that he does own. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't just expect to run off with somebody hard work and go get paid for it. Like, you know, there was another thing where Joe Cool had a gripe about it as well. The one who did the artwork, the Snoop, for the Doggy Style album and for the Snoop's clothing brand. You know what I mean? He had a gripe about. He had it was a long letter on Instagram. I was reading that Dad had posted. And I was like, damn. You know what I mean? And this is not just an issue with Snoop. This is the issue with a lot of CEOs when they deal with, even like say for instance, if you a CEO from a city and some youngers want to get put on and you put them in messed up contracts, and it actually ends up having a negative effect on their career, then you didn't do them no justice. You could say, "Oh yeah, I put them on," but it's like you put them in a bad contract. Now, business is business, so it is what it is. Some people have more ethics, some people have less ethics. You know what I mean? But I feel like when it comes to your family, I feel like you got to deal with them straight, man. You got to deal with them straight. You can't try to pull them saying, especially when you know he up on game. You left Death Row for the same reasons. When you left Death Row, the label was going down and you abandoned ship. That's fine. You know what I mean? But the same things that Suge was doing to you business wise, is this what you're doing to your family members? How can you say that Suge did this and that and the third business wise, and I didn't make no money off of Doggy Style and yada yada yada? But then you turn around and you do it to your family members. You know, you try to prevent them from owning things and doing their thing. So you know, Daz does have the receipts. So I definitely got to say, Daz got it. He building the case right here. You know what I mean? He's definitely building the case. And hopefully, Daz get his just due. And my thing is like this, right? If it means that we not going to speak no more because I'm about my business and I want what's rightfully mine, then we just not gonna speak. It is what it is, you know. So any thoughts on this topic, man? Leave your comments in the comment section. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be back on here to break down some more topics. I'll probably go live tomorrow. You know, yeah, catch me on YouTube from a fan's perspective. I'm on Instagram too, but I gotta do something with the name. I gotta change the name. But anyway, catch me on YouTube. This is where I'm at. You know what I mean? And you know, y'all have a good night. Peace. See y'all next time.